So I have the question, what were a few challenges you actually wouldn't have thought would be after becoming quadriplegic? Or I guess things I didn't know is what I'm assuming before I became a quadriplegic. Um, I remember them throwing around the word quad, and I had no idea what that meant. I had seen people in wheelchairs before and knew about paraplegics, but when I thought of the word quadriplegic, I thought of someone who was like brain dead, like someone like Terry Schiavo or something. I don't know. I was very ignorant, and I thought it was someone who could like blink with their eyes. So I had no idea. I didn't know that it affects your diaphragm, that it would change my voice. The reason my voice, though, is hoarse is not because of that. That's because my voice box was actually disconnected from my trachea by over an inch. And when this is like, I was coming in and out of the coma, and I was like still at that stage where you're asking someone for like 2 weeks every single day, what happened? Where's my boyfriend? What about work? What school? Where's so and so? What's going on? And everyone who's been in my situation knows what I'm talking about. I didn't think. Anyway, they had to pull basically the pieces of my trachea out of the muscles of my neck and piece them back together with my voice box so I could talk. And I mean, that surgery, it's one of the earliest memories I have of like severe pain. I remember just going Ativan, Ativan, Ativan. And yeah, my memories of that are pretty vivid. But I didn't think just about how important hand and upper body function was. I was much more worried about walking. Everyone's worried about walking. Everyone's walking, walking, walking. And my legs movement, I got leg movement back pretty quick. My right arm first, and then like my left arm, but my left arm is still like my weaker, just it's very stiff since I had the right side brain injury along with the spinal cord injury, which a lot of people have the delight of having. I it's like the left side of my body kind of became a little bit more paralyzed, a little bit stiffer. That's super fun. But I didn't realize just the importance of like OT, of going and learning how to do things, and that being able to be independent and taking care of myself, learning to do things was really important. And I neglected that, and I am now paying for it. Definitely. I wish I had gotten tendon transfers early on and I'd known about them. I actually wrote an article for this old blog that I used to write for, and it was published on this website, Spinalpedia, which is just like a big spinal cord injury forum full of information, like peer groups, all that kind of stuff. So my mom was researching the forum and found out about there are nerve transfers now for people with spinal cord injuries, and found the doctor that pioneered it. I went to see him in California, and he said I was a good candidate. He was like shocked by my hands at that time, what they had, like the function they had for my level of injury, which I've been told I'm different levels of injury. My original injury is C2 because my C2 vertebrae was shattered in pieces, but that wasn't where the damage was caused, probably because it wasn't compressing on the spine. And actually, they had to get to my brain first, to see if I would live. And so, because I was still moving my arms and legs, even though I don't remember it, in the ambulance and in the ER. So, like most people are paralyzed automatically. They said if I hadn't had that brain injury, I probably would have walked out of there had minimal deficits because of how incomplete I am. The fact that I have sensation everywhere, the fact I can move my arms and my hands suck really bad, worse than other people that are my injury level. When they did like a scan, like an EKG, they said my injury level was at 5'6". Most quadriplegics at the 5'6" level are pretty independent, or their hands are a lot better than mine. And mine are super tight, and it's because of the pain meds I take. That is a whole different story to talk about. That has been the worst thing that's ever happened to me is being prescribed the amount of pain meds I've been on. Did a cold turkey detox, couldn't do it. I had no support. Okay, stay back on topic. So I didn't realize how important my upper body function was and how that would be. I also didn't realize that your spinal cord injury affects everything in your body. It affects your bladder, it affects your bowels, it affects like your heart, your kidneys, your liver, because of all the meds I have to take. That's probably what I'll die from. Me and my dad play this game where we try to figure out like what we're gonna die from. He's already had 3 heart attacks. His first one was 2 weeks after my accident. I'm sure the stress got to him. And so he has had 2 cents. And he's like, I think you're going to die probably of kidney failure. And since I get constant UTIs from catheterization, which I'll go into, I think that's what I'm going to die from too. So that's exciting to look forward to. But what I have to do to pee is, I never even thought about people in wheelchairs went to the bathroom, was I take like a thin plastic tube and just like insert it into my urethra, my bladder, every 4 to 6 hours, or if I have to pee, just whenever. And we empty it to like an old Coke bottle and pour it out. I don't wear like a bag or anything like that. Some people wear Foley catheters, which is where it's a bag that it connects to their urethra, and it's a bag that's constantly draining urine out. I can't, those are extremely painful for me, and you're more susceptible to have UTIs with that. But with cathing, I had the same thing because I'm constantly, your bladder is sterile, your urine is sterile, right? So when you're constantly inserting something, even though I would wipe me down with iodine and we use like sterile catheters, you're always inserting bacteria into your bladder. So I take a regular antibiotic because mine are so bad. I want to get a Mitronoff procedure, which is where I pee through like a little stoma or an opening in my belly, and I just put a little catheter in there and pee out of that. That's what I want. As far as bowels, it really slowed mine down, so I deal with a lot of like constipation, which is no fun. I mean, girls don't poop, right? So I'm one of those girls. I don't poop. No, never. But really, you miss being able to just poop like normal. It's horrible. It takes me like a suppository and drinking a lot of stuff, being on a prescription med just to go to the bathroom. And pain pills definitely don't help with that. So I didn't expect that. I didn't think, about the bone density loss from not standing. That's why standing in a standing frame is so important. And I've had one for like, since I was injured, and have not utilized that. But for some reason I don't have osteoporosis. I have very slight osteopenia. I can only chalk that up to genetics. I have good genetics. That's not always a blessing though, because I am scared of living a really long life, because there are more complications that come along as you age. And if I don't like get it together and start working out again, it's going to be an issue and I can lose more and more function. I didn't realize that even your own family could not want to take care of you, blame you for things, be your punching bag. I never thought the people closest to me would turn on me. That was the biggest shock to my system. Just the sheer lack of care for me and prioritizing their happiness and comfortability over mine, I think is something I'm still struggling with. There's been a lot of trauma. And finding out that women with disabilities are 50% more likely to be in domestic abuse situations, which I've been in and talked about. But I think those are the main things that I didn't think would be challenges. And they are. There's a ton more I'm sure I'm forgetting. And I will come back in here and fix that one day, or maybe in the comments. So I hope that answers your question. We'll